ここは一つ仕掛けてみるかの。ではどうぞお好きな方に。
わかったよ。ソファーで寝るよ。
Tsukiga Michibiku Isekai Dochu. Genres: action, adventure, comedy, fantasy. As part of a mysterious contract agreed upon by a goddess and his parents years ago, Makoto Mizumi finds himself sent to another world to meet the goddess and become the hero. However, the deity deems Makoto to be hideous, refusing to even lay eyes upon him, and revokes his heroic title. Disdainfully giving him the ability to understand all languages except the human language as compensation, the goddess drives Makoto off the farthest edges of the wasteland, far from human civilization. Due to the disparity between Earth and this new world, Makoto's inherent physical and magical capabilities awaken, making him extremely powerful. He meets various demi-humans and mythological beings who all end up being captivated with his characteristics and join Makoto in building a new community where all of them can peacefully coexist. Nevertheless, despite this success, Makoto still yearns to meet fellow humans. In a world where the goddess herself has barred him from interacting with his kind, it is up to Makoto and his companions to fulfill his desire and perhaps reform society along the way.
Did you think I couldn't fight because I'm a mage? That was a mistake.
Number 9. She professed herself pupil of the wise man. With a dignified veteran's body and a long white beard, Summoner Mage Dunevolve was one of the strongest player characters in the virtual reality online multiplayer role-playing game Arc Earth Online. One day, Dunevolve had purchased a cosmetic kit and tinkered with his character. However, he accidentally fell asleep during the customization process. Upon waking up, Dunevolve not only notices that the world of Arc Earth Online had become more realistic, but also discovered that he had turned into a cute girl. After reaching Alkate, he learns it has been 30 years since he supposedly disappeared. Now tasked with finding the other missing mages by King Solomon, the avid role player proclaims his new identity as Mira, the pupil of the wise man Dunevolve, and ventures forth to prove his legacy.
むしろ見てなかったらいつものノリなのか。あ、いや、俺は別に。
この人全然オラに興味ない。てめえ、矢の振るとはいい度胸だべな。
100 Man no Inochi no Ue ni Ora wa Tateru. Genres: action, game, drama, fantasy, shonen. Yotsuya Yusuke, along with his classmates Shindo Iyu and Hakozaki Kusue, have been transported to a strange and unknown world inhabited by mythological creatures. As soon as they arrive, they meet someone calling himself the Game Master, who then grants them a time-limited quest. To aid them in this quest, he also bestows Shindo and Hakozaki with the roles of a magician and a warrior, while Yotsuya is randomly granted the role of a farmer. This is how a hectic life of adventuring began for 3 students who now have no choice but to complete random quests for several phases in the fantasy world if they want to stay alive and protect the real world from the demons and monsters they encounter.
The vast and blessed protection of water conferred through thou seekest. Care to explain yourself?
It's nothing.
Number 7. Mushoku Tensei Season 2. Which has just been aired in the spring season. Season 1 was just super surprising with its concept, in which our main character, despite getting bullied, scorned, and oppressed all his life, a 34-year-old shut-in still found the resolve to attempt something heroic, only for it to end in a tragic accident. But, in a twist of fate, he awakens in another world as Rudius Greyrat, starting life again as a baby born to 2 loving parents.
A beast for your love.
Preserving his memories and knowledge from his previous life, Rudius quickly adapts to his new environment. With the mind of a grown adult, he starts to display magical talents that exceed all expectations, honing his skills with the help of a mage named Roxy Magurdia. Rudius learns swordplay from his father Paul and meets Sylphiette, a girl his age who quickly becomes his closest friend.
How?
In my world, we have this thing called believing in the heart of the cards. Ignore that.
Coming up at number 9, we have No Game No Life. Sora has a crush on Shiro, even though they are siblings. Don't tell me you were expecting some mind-blowing plot from an isekai anime. Putting that aside, they both are hardcore gamers known by the name Blank. Blank is a name given to 4 legendary characters who dominate all games and are ranked #1 in every game there is. They are so skilled that even hackers don't stand a chance against them. The story starts when they one day receive an anonymous mail from a self-proclaimed god who is the ruler of a world where everything is decided by games. They start living there and shock everyone with their extraordinary deductive skills. It's more of a psychological anime. Skeleton Knight in Another World. Just like a typical anime, one day while playing a game, our main character falls asleep and finds himself in his favorite video game with a skeleton face. But instead of getting shocked by this, all he was having was fun. Because he had all the powerful equipment which he had collected while playing the game. And now I'm thinking what he must have done with his body if he had a female avatar. Anyway, he later decides to live a peaceful life until he meets with an elven warrior, which introduced him to a life of adventure and how he can save others' lives by doing this.
えぐいなおい。数値だけ見るともう敵なしに見えるけど、これでも魔王に届かないって。あれ？前世と同じ顔だ。
Kumodesuga Nanika. Genres: action, adventure, comedy, fantasy, mystery. The day is as normal as it can be in high school as the students peacefully go about their everyday activities until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, a handful of students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as nobles, princes, and other kinds of people with prestigious backgrounds. One girl, however, is not so lucky. Being reborn as a spider of the weakest kind, she immediately experiences the hardships of her dire situation. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like that of an RPG, she tries her best to hunt prey and defeat monsters to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded and that she will be granted a better life.
迷宮の構造が変わって行方をくらましてるな。あいつらがいればもっと戦略の幅が広がるのに。俺は今考え事してんだ。騒ぐなら俺の家から出てけ。
私の家です。
Mekyu Black Company. Genres: comedy, fantasy. Kenji, who lacks any kind of work ethic, is a layabout in his modern life. One day he finds himself transported to another world, but not in a grand fantasy of a hero welcomed with open arms. He's immediately shoved into a terrible job. Now enslaved by an evil mining company in a fantasy world, Kenji's about to really learn the meaning of hard work.
実の娘になんてことをするんだ。
マルティにはひどい虚言癖がありますので。
Coming up at number 2, we have Rising of the Shield Hero. 4 heroes are summoned to a fantasy game-like realm. Everyone is equipped with a legendary weapon to fight off against the waves of catastrophe to protect the people of the world. Naofumi Iwatani, who happens to be our main character, is equipped with a shield, and because of that, everyone considers him useless as he lacks any offensive power. As if all that wasn't enough, our boy ends up getting betrayed in the first 10 minutes of the story and is accused of raping the princess of the nation. After all this, he decides to leave the nation alone and find some dependable allies along the way. Make no mistake, our MC is overpowered even with a shield and has 2 beautiful ladies by his side with a 2nd season coming up this year. I personally recommend this one. Coming up at number 1 on our list, we have the King's Avatar. If you were looking for a badass male lead with a relaxed type attitude, then this entry is for you. Yizue is a godlike player in MMORPG glory and holds every record there is in the game. His character, One Autumn Leaf, is feared even among other professionals.